Gopijanavalabha Girivaradhari Gopijanavalabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavihari Radha Madhava Kunjavihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavihari Gopijanavalabha Girivaradhari Gopijanavalabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavihari Gopijanavalabha Girivaradhari Gopijanavalabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we read from Śrimad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 11, texts 2 to 4. So usually it's best to put the last verse up on the board, and then because that's the one with the purport. Okay, but anyway, we've got that one. So, you can put it up, can you?
It's usually the one with the purple.
It should be number 4. Is that 4? Oh, all right. Very good. Oh, yeah. So I'll recite the other 2, and then we'll recite number 4 together. Sata eva sapada tasya. What are we doing here? You've got to put number 4 up. I recite 2 and 3. No, usually just the speaker recites the verses, and then the last one we all recite together. So, don't recite until we get to the 4th one, okay? I'll put it on this, it's a bit easier. Sata eva padartasya. Svarupava stitasya yat. Kevalyam parama mahan aveshesho nirantaraha. Translation. Atoms are the ultimate state of the manifest universe. When they stay in their own forms without forming different bodies, they are called the ultimate oneness. There are certainly different bodies in physical forms, but the atoms themselves form the complete manifestation. Evam kalopyanu mitaha sokshmye stolye cha satama samstana bhukya bhagavan avyakto vyakta bhug vibahu. Translation. One can estimate time by measuring the movement of the atomic combination of bodies. Time is the potency of the Almighty Personality of Godhead. Hari, who controls all physical movements, although he is not visible in the physical world. So we can recite together now. Sakalak Paramanurva Sakalak Paramanurvai Sakalak Paramanurvai Yo Bhukte Paramanutam Yo Bhukte Paramanutam Sato Vishesha Bhugyastu Sato Vishesha Bhugyastu Sakalak Paramo Mahan Sakalak Paramo Mahan Sakalak Paramanurvai Yo Bhukte Paramanutam Sato Vishesha Bhugyastu Sakalat Paramo Mahan Sakalak Paramanurvai Yo Bhukte Paramanutam Sato Vishesha Bhugyastu Sakalak Paramo Mahan Sakalak Paramanurvai Yo Bhukte Paramanutam Sato Vishesha Bhugyastu Sakala Paramo Mahan Saha, that, Kalaha, eternal time, Parama Anahu, atomic, Vai, certainly, Yaha, which, Bhukte, passes through, Paramanutam, the space of an atom, Sataha, of the entire aggregate, Abhishesha, book, passing through the non-dual exhibition. Yahatu, which, Saha, that, Kalaha, time, Paramanaha, the Supreme, Mahan, the Great. Translation: atomic time is measured according to its covering a particular atomic space. That time which covers the unmanifested aggregate of atoms is called the great time. In response, please. Atomic time is measured according to its covering a particular atomic space. That time which covers the unmanifested aggregate of atoms is called the great time. Purport: time and space are two correlative terms. Time is measured in terms of its covering a certain space of atoms. Standard time is calculated in terms of the movement of the sun. The time covered by the sun in passing over an atom is calculated as atomic time. The greatest time of all covers the entire existence of the non-dual manifestation. All the planets rotate and cover space, and space is calculated in terms of atoms. Each planet has its particular orbit for rotating, in which it moves without deviation, and similarly, the sun has its orbit. The complete calculation of the time of creation, maintenance, and dissolution, measured in terms of the circulation of the total planetary systems until the end of creation, is known as the Supreme Kala. Om Gyanantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitidamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastatya Deshatarine. So we might ask, why is, a whole chapter spent on time? And for that matter, the whole third canto, the Śrimad Bhāgavatam, or half of it at least, 2/3 is, maybe a third, is spent on, the creation, and other parts of the Bhāgavatam also. And so this is the first thing that, Sutta Goswami starts, or originally, Shukadeva Goswami starts to speak about this. It's all Bhāgavatam, but in this third canto it really gets into the subject matter. And, at the end of the second canto, Parikshit Maharaj has accepted the process of devotional service. And now he's asking questions about it. And the first thing he asks is about the material creation. And so, in the Upanishads it says that one who can understand this material creation and everything that's happening within it, and also the spiritual world and the nature of those activities, then he can transcend the nature, he can transcend this material existence and attain the spiritual platform. So we have to understand both. If we don't know our reference point, we don't know where to go. And so this is when we understand our reference point, then we can understand, how we're actually conditioned. So much of the Bhagavad Gita and the Śrimad Bhāgavatam is covering these points about our particular situation, so we can recognize what we need to do. And, time is a very important topic, because time is the thing that's making the whole creation work. All the ingredients are there. They're coming from the body of, first of all, Karanadakashaya Vishnu, then through the body of Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. And this is very detailedly explained. And everything's in place, but until, time is actually added, then there's nothing actually working. Everything's static. And so, time has the effect in this... Time in this world is, based on change. The sun is actually moving over the atom. It takes so much... I forget what they call it. It'll tell you in the next verse. Then it moves over two atoms. So the time it takes the sun to travel a certain distance is a measurement of time. And within that time, there are so many activities performed. And these activities are actually limited because ayu harati vaipungsham astan ujyatan aso. I can't remember this. That, by both rising and setting, the sun decreases the life of everybody except one who is hearing the topics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why is that? Because the time in the spiritual world is actually, they say it's conspicuous by its absence, but we have to have time. Even in the spiritual world there's time. There's a time for Krishna to actually rise, there's a time for him to go out and or have his breakfast, there's a time to go out and play with his cowherd boyfriends, there's a time to come back, there's a time to go on his nocturnal activities. So time is there, but there's no change. That's the difference. Time in this world is change. And that change is the fearful part of it. Bhayam dvityabha nivasataha shat isatapatashu. It says that, by seeing things in duality, then we become fearful. But when we see everything connected with Krishna, then the fear goes. The time is still working on the body, but the actual consciousness is somewhere else. So this is why it says, "A pure devotee is liberated, even though he has a material body." What's that verse? Anybody remember it? No, that's also applicable. That's talking about being fully engaged in devotional service, how we're liberated. And there's another one which says that, when body, mind and words are actually engaged in Krishna's service, then one's considered to be liberated even though he's in the material world. So that's explaining that it's not a matter that we travel to the spiritual world, that if we're actually in the right consciousness, we're already in the spiritual world. And therefore it says in this verse, time's conspicuous by its absence. Or it's not that time is not there, it means that the effect of time is not there. The devotee is constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness, and that is eternal, because even after the demise of this body, he'll be constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness. So this is what Krishna consciousness means, is that we're not just performing activities, but the consciousness is following those activities. And in Madhurya Kadambini it says we can measure our advancement in two ways. There's one authority says that first it's the body that we perform activities with. And then gradually as we perform activities with the body, then the mind will follow and the intelligence will follow and will become fixed in Krishna consciousness. Is that right? It's right in one respect because we're engaged in activities and half the time we're not necessarily relating it so much to Krishna and service to Krishna. We're doing it quite often in an automatic way. Yeah. And so when the intelligence and mind starts to follow that, then this is actually Krishna consciousness. We're never forgetting Krishna. But it says that other authorities, they say different. They say that according to our propensity, some people work with the body, right? Some people work with the mind. Some people work with intelligence. So a person will work with one of those three things, and he'll gradually, the other things will follow. So which one is it? Is it the one where we start working with the body and then the mind and intelligence follow eventually? Or is it we work with the mind and intelligence and everything starts following? It's both. It does, there's no conclusion given. And so, spiritual life is like that. It's not like we can just, we're trying to get it condensed onto a slogan. You know what I mean? This is the material world. That's what they do at university, isn't it? They actually put things in short, and then from that you can expand so much. So, sometimes in Krishna consciousness we try to do that. But it's not possible. We'll just become completely frustrated. Yes, so time, it's measured by change, and that's the fearful part. That's in the spiritual world. There's no change. There's no fear. And when we're in spiritual consciousness, there's no change. There's no fear. The body's changing, but we're not identifying. So, bhayam dviti, by identifying with the body, fear. So the whole point is the whole problem is solved by engaging our mind in Krishna consciousness at all times, in all places. This is the last verse of the seed verses of the Bhāgavatam. Everybody should search for this, but in all time and place, in all circumstances. And I know that sometimes, I go back to where I used to live. I used to call it home, actually. This is the effect of being conditioned. I'm doing some service in a temple, but even if it's all year, I'm engaged in service. But I go back home because we're conditioned to. That's where our roots were. And then, and then eventually my father left his body, and then probably 11 years later my mother left the body, and then all what I thought was home, it just completely vanished. I can't relate to it anymore. I've still got a brother, but the relationship's not the same. And everything I look at and see, it's different. There's nobody. I don't think there's anybody in that street who's actually, there may be one or two who's still alive. All different faces, different situation completely. And so this is actually the positive effect of time for a devotee. It breaks his relationship with those things he's so attached to as time goes on. He sees that none of these things are actually real. And we hear it, but until we actually experience it, it's still something, it's just a theory. But when we experience that change, it really actually shakes us. That nothing is going to be the same very soon. Everybody in this room, we're all related, but, everybody will disappear. And it's happening. Prabhupada disciples will start leaving the body in these next 10 years. Burijan Maharaj said, Burijan Prabhu said, this is the decade of tears. And so devotee has to be, the effect of time is that it makes us serious. Because when the body is altered, the effect of time on the body means that, we can't do the same things anymore. The desire is there. The desires never leave. But the ability is not there anymore. And so it means that we have to wind down our material, our physical activities. Yeah? We just can't do it. And what happens is that the energy is transferred internally and we become more thoughtful. You become more thoughtful because, when you're passionate, when you're in your youth, you can run up the stairs and get what you want, right? You come running back down. Oh, no, I forgot something. So you run back up and then you run back down. But after a while, when the body is not so reciprocal, you think, wait a minute, just make sure I've got everything before I go back down. Anyway, that's a material example. But same in spiritual life. We start to realize that every second is precious. When we're reading Bhāgavatam, we're really reading it. When we're chanting those rounds, we're trying to really chant. Because there's still a tendency to think, it'll never happen to me. It's impossible. How can I leave this world? It'll happen to everybody else but me. But it won't. One day, tap on the shoulder. It's time. What time is it, by the way? 20. Time I am, great destroyer of the world, kalos me. This is Krishna speaking in Bhagavad Gita in the 11th chapter. And I've come to actually engage everybody. Except you. Not you, the Pandavas. Because they're engaged in devotional service. That's one of the reasons. There was devotees also left the bodies in that, but generally. And so this is the all-devouring universal form. It's described by Narada Muni to the Haryashvas. You remember the Haryashvas? They were the sons of Prachina Barishat. Is that right? Eh? Oh, Daksha, sorry, yeah. Yeah, Daksha, he was wanting to create, so he actually produced 10,000 sons called the Haryashvas. And, they were very intelligent. They were actually prime material for devotional service. And so Narada Muni recognized that. He said, why should they waste their time in performing activities which are actually karma kanda, just so they can produce children? And so he preached to them. And they became devotees. And while he was preaching to them, he started to give analogies. The best way to preach is to give analogies. Something which people can relate to. Oh, I see. And so and they were very intelligent. They didn't need to have it explained. And one of the analogies he gave was there's a rotating machine. And it's got razor blades, very sharp blades. And it's actually destroying everything that comes in its path. And it says this is, and Prabhupada in his purport says, this is time. Nothing withstands. I remember I went home to, at one time, there was no books. For some reason, the movement got into such a situation where we weren't distributing books. We're distributing paraphernalia, a roll. It went to like a stack of books. It was a roll of oil paintings, flat out, and they used to send you out, so I visited the place where I was living, I thought I'll try a few places around there, see if I can. And I went in one woodwork place, and I was astounded. I saw what one friend I had from, before I joined. He was a few years older than me, and as soon as he saw me, he recognised me, and we were talking. And anyway, I tell him about Hare Krishna and all that, I said, yeah, it must be like 10 years since I last saw you. He says, it's 20. It's 20 years ago. So, time is flying. Then probably 10, 20 years later, I was went home again. I was just going to go in the house, and I saw this old man walking down the street who I used to play football with. And I thought, do I look like him? But all these things are like, they actually wake us up. And see what other stories we've got. Yes, so time, there's some points I've made here. Why do we have British Standard Time, by the way? He said Standard Time in here, didn't he? There's time and there's Standard Time. He's talking about British Standard Time, right? Does anybody know? This is a question completely different from what we're talking about. But I've been working, I think, why do they still keep it? Does anybody any ideas?
If the Greenwich, there's a 0 degrees latitude.
It's what?
Greenwich, there's 0 degrees longitude. That's why.
There's how many degrees?
In Greenwich, there's a blue line.
There's Greenwich Meridian.
Yes, that's the reason.
That's GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. That don't alter.
Yeah.
But what they do, they put the clocks forward, don't they? And they call that British Standard Time. And then, in October, they put them back. Why? I know they used to do it in the war, actually. They used to fiddle about with the time. So, they used to put the clocks forward so that instead of being 9 o'clock, it was 10 o'clock, and they got more time to harvest the field. All you have to do is get up a bit earlier, get up an hour earlier, you know what I mean? But now all that's gone, so why do they still do it? Because, we don't grow anything in this country, do we really? We grow rapeseed, and you get a yellow field, and, what's the other one? Mustard, you get so many different fields, but we don't really grow anything. Eh? Do we still grow potatoes? Are you sure? I've not seen a potato field for a long time. What's that? I didn't hear a word, but somebody translate it.
Communication and efficiency of trains, basically. Trains and communication.
Anyway, Balaram, there was one king called King Kukudmi, and he had a daughter called Revati. And he wanted to marry his daughter to some qualified person, so he went to Brahmaloka with his daughter and asked, Lord Brahma to give him a clue who he could marry his daughter to. And Lord Brahma, he was playing, he was listening to the Gandharvas sing. And so they had to wait a little bit, a few minutes. And then when he finished, Lord Brahma listened to them, to his question. I'd like to marry my daughter to a suitable person on the earth, so that, a qualified person. And he started laughing. He says, everybody who were there when you left, they've all gone. They've all left. He said, what to do then? He said, well, Balaram's still there. He says, you go and you can marry your daughter to Balaram. And so Balaram, they went back. And so this shows that, just a few minutes on the Brahmaloka is like many, many, many years on this planet. Time is relative. it's relative to, the particular planets we're living on. And it's also relative to the species, isn't it? It's you get a firefly, it comes out in the evening, and all night it's fireflying, and then in the morning it dies, and then that's a full life. But that experience is the same as our experience. So when we hear about, get a long duration of life on the higher planets, it's not like that. They just experience the same as us. Does anybody agree with that? Eh? It sounds okay, does it? Good. So confirmed. Oh, any other examples of time on different planets? There's also Lord Brahma, isn't there? Lord Brahma, he stole the cowherd boys. He went to Brahmaloka, put them all in a cave, came back. He was only gone a few minutes. When he came back, a year had gone by.
You mentioned
Indradyumna Maharaj. What about it?
when they finished the Jagannath temple, then it was said that he went to Brahmaloka for him to install the deities. And then when he came back down, everything was changed. He was gone, his wife, they were all gone.
Yeah, so Kala Chakra. The Kala Chakra is destroying everything. And the only way to get free from the Kala Chakra, Ayu Hariti Vaipungsam. By engaging in our mind in hearing Śrimad Bhāgavatam and performing devotional service. In this way, the time doesn't affect us. I remember when I joined the temple, I had the same feeling. Has anybody else had that feeling? That, outside you're working all week and everything's like, I'll be glad when it's Friday, and you know what I mean? And I'm glad that's over with. Oh, when I was at school, we've got so-and-so on Monday morning, you know what I mean? Really strict teacher. And so we're measuring everything according to the sense gratification we'll get. But when we come to devotional service, sometimes we don't know what day it is, do we? I mean that I mean sometimes you don't know what day it is, but spaced out, But we don't. I used to forget. Is it a Saturday today? Because we're doing the same. Especially if you're in the temple, If you're doing Sankirtan, it's a bit different. You get a change. Okay, we're going to stop there. So, is there anything I've missed? Yeah, so Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says this world is a place where everybody, we should do our business. It's like a stool house. We should do our business and get out. Okay?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much. You're telling that as the time passes by and we become old, our ability decreases, but
our ability reduces.
But the desire is there to serve or to render different kind of services. So just wanted to ask, is there any advice which you would give to the younger devotees who are in their 20s or 30s? What services they should focus more on, or what aspects of sadhana they should spend more time, so that they don't end up regretting later?
It depends on your nature, like I was saying earlier. We do what comes naturally. There used to be a song, do what comes naturally. You know what I mean? If we try to spend time trying to do things that we think we should do because it's maybe for some reason, whatever it is, it's more prestigious or it's more devotional. It's not. Krishna's looking for a change of heart, like the Bhāgavatam says, and when the heart's changed, it doesn't matter what we're doing externally. The external activities are to bring a change of heart. So whatever we're actually capable of doing and we're accustomed to doing, and it's more natural than anything else, we should do it and put everything into it. Because, we chant Hare Krishna, and the other thing is we have to engage in another kind of chanting, is service. Prabhupada said service is chanting. So we have to be fully engaged, that's the point. And if we're fully engaged, there's very little problems. There are, obviously in service we have to negotiate certain things, but relatively speaking, there's nothing really problematic. It's only our materialistic concept of it, that's all. Isn't it? We're eternal, we're not the body. We can be eternally engaged in Krishna's service. Whatever happens to the body, whatever happens to our, even to our reputation, whatever, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's, these things will go. We're fearful of so many things in this world, aren't we? We're fearful of what we feel, fearful of losing the body, anything else.
What people think about us? Relatives.
What? Fearful of relatives. Fearful of the missus. We're fearful of, disease. Fearful there's no prasadam. Fearful, of reputation. We've got to look the part, haven't we? We're a devotee. We've got to, but it don't matter.
There's a saying: time heals and time kills.
Killed.
Yeah.
Mm.
Time heals and time kills.
I think that
you forgot my name, Primanava. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. It's a difficult verse. I've got a question that, so Lord Brahma, he lives for many, many millions and millions of years compared to the calculation here on earth. But Prabhupada explains that the demigods, even though they live for many, many years, it's still for them, it's only 100 years. So how can we understand that? Because even though for them it's 100 years, the whole point of taking birth in the higher planets is that you're experiencing time a lot longer. But if it's only 100, you're only experiencing it as 100 years, then it's the same as here. How can we understand that?
well, everybody agreed. No, I mean that's just my understanding from reading Bhāgavatam. And although they say, life it's still temporary at life. So I can't, if anybody's got any other information from Shastra which explains how they do experience a longer life, but based on those three things from Shastra, it means that you go there and you just spend a short while, and when you come back, a huge amount of time's gone. So that huge amount of time which they're speaking about is a longer life. If you see that they have, 10,000 years on the demigod planets, but there they call it's less. What? Yeah, there's no disease.
No, but they only experience it. They experience it as 100 years. They're 100 years. So. No, I know that. But for them, it's still 100 years.
Yeah, but there's only birth and so it can be 100 or 200. There is no change.
No, it's not answering my question.
That's why you feel. That's the understanding.
Yeah, that's not his question.
The question is, for
You got to
them,
come through the speaker, that.
for them, the experience is still 100 years, Prabhupada says. So,
What is the question?
well, that's my question. No, No,
Anyway, all I can say is that if we have Shastric evidence that proves that they do experience 10,000 years, it's like 10,000 years to them, then we can accept that. But Shastric evidence that I've seen, it doesn't say that. Prabhupada does say that to have a longer duration of life, but it's like it's from our perspective. They have 10,000 years, but according to the experience of Lord Brahma, the experience of, Revati and Indradyumna, they went there, and when they came back, many generations had gone. But they experienced while they were up there, just like whatever time they were there, in 1 day, 2 days, whatever.
could it be, this is speculation, could it be that everyone experiences time differently, just like when we're young, we experience like a week. When you're a child, a week is like a year. As you get older,
It's not.
a year is like a week. So, according to, anyway, I'm speculating. According to Brahma, he's 100 years for him is like thousands and thousands and thousands of years, but even though it's still 100,
Yeah.
maybe.
So I think this is the homework, right? You got to do this is the homework for today. You got to work this one out. Okay, get your heads in the Bhāgavatam. See if you can come up with anything. Yeah, you do when you're younger. It's like you can't. If you're 6-year-old, you can't wait to be 7. It's like that, and it's like can't wait. But when you're older, it's like time goes like that. So, okay, Grantaraj Śrimad Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaura Premanandi.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,